at radiofreebrooklyn.org.
All right. Is this okay? It's happening. Yes. Yes. You guys, how's your sound?
I can hear you. We're live.
We're live.
Yes.
Okay, you
Live.
can hear me. I can hear you. We're filming. The phone I brought to film is not turned on yet, but I am filming.
Nice.
All right. We're good.
It's not on. I can see it. Is that a different phone?
That's my burner phone. That's just my old phone,
Nice.
and that's my new phone. I try not to record on my new phone for who knows what reason. Some sort of strange idea of phone hygiene. But
You don't like the data getting contaminated?
it's like a lot of data to record for a whole hour, of
Sure.
which I'll
Yeah.
use a minute.
Yeah.
I record the whole show to get a minute long clip. I have been posting the full episodes though.
Yeah.
The last few full episodes I've been posting of No Suggestion, an improv comedy talk show. I'm Ralph Jean Pierre. We got co-host Jake Joseph here.
Hello.
And we got our special guest, an old buddy of mine, an old friend, one of my favorite improvisers in New York City. We got Chris Roberti in the house.
Hi,
Yeah.
Ralph. Thank you.
Yeah.
Good
Glad to
be
have you.
here.
Chris, you're a poet.
Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned it. Yeah.
Dude, is that would that be the first, what do you call that? A label or a category you'd put yourself? What would you say you are first?
Oh,
Man,
Ralph.
soldier.
I think I'm a dad.
Yeah, number
First.
one.
And then I would just put, artist or somebody who likes to play. Poet is really down on has really been moved to the back now.
Okay.
But I think it's that the poetry was the first kind of art form that I kind of played with in college, and then from there, when I came to New York, I saw some improv, and I was like, oh, this is like more fun.
Oh,
So
interesting.
My favorite part of poetry was the performance, anyway.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
But I could still write a poem if I needed to, if the government needed me to.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
could write a
Whoop
poem.
one out if they needed like a poetry division.
Right.
Yeah, I do. It's something I don't know why it's something I've thought about off and on all my life. Is that, you know why? There's several reasons I've thought of it, but poetry, I think, in the modern world can be sort of like a dead, a kind of a passive thing.
Mm.
It's not as active as it feels like it could be or should be, which is probably one of the reasons why hip hop and song and musicians and songwriters are so powerful, because they like in some ways can activate poetry
Yeah.
in a way that maybe is what slam poetry aspired to, or why it is the way it is. But like, it's odd to me sometimes that poetry is like, doesn't feel as active as it could be. Does that make sense?
I think there's a lot of bad poetry, like any art. There's a lot of bad examples. But I think like what I like about poetry is like it's sort of the shape of a thought, or it could be the shape of easy for our brain to like hold. I mean, not necessarily epic poems, but
He's playing some big Travis Scott outside.
I was just in Times Square. I told Ralph and Jake that I was just at Sardi's. I had never been to Sardi's before.
Oh, you haven't? Wow.
And that's the place, if you don't know, for our listeners outside of New York City, where all the actors get caricatures drawn, and they go on the walls.
Gotcha.
And it was great. I really loved all the food. I wasn't paying.
Nice.
I had a Negroni, very good.
It's my favorite drink.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really good. If you go to Sardi's, get the Negroni.
All right, I'll have to do that.
And on the way out, there was a man who I will call Spider-Man, because he was calling himself Spider-Man, and his license plate was Spider-Man.
Whoa.
And
Was he in a costume?
No.
This is very interesting.
Did the car look like Spider-Man?
Well, it was one of those cars that has two wheels in the front and one wheel in the back.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, it looks kind of like a go-kart. Do you know, have
Yeah,
you seen
yeah.
this around? And he was playing that, dun, dun, ba-dun, dun, ba, ba, ba-dun, ba, bum, bum, boom, that one. Let me clear my throat.
Oh.
Super loud again and again.
Yeah.
People were coming to take pictures with him. It was like bumper to bumper traffic, Times Square. Like we got out of Sardi's. He walked, he was like slowly rolling by, blaring music. 10 minutes later, I rode my bike down 44th Street to the intersection of 44th and Broadway or Times Square. And he was parked in the crosswalk as thousands of people are walking by, and a bunch of them were just like taking pictures with the guy.
Hey, yo, y'all move back. Watch out. That's my man right there. That's my man. You watch out. You ain't got no business right here. That's my man.
I just want to go to Bubba Gump.
Hey, watch out, because that's my man, okay? That's my homie right there. That's Spidey.
I'm here with my family. We've come from America's heartland to get some Bubba Gump.
What state? There's a lot of states that comprise the heartland.
Well, guess if you were to put a heart on America, where would we be from?
Look at these rings. Okay. You white.
I'm
You white. Your whole family.
Yeah.
You got 3 kids.
Yep.
You got a wife.
Well, 2 white kids, and then one of my white kids' white friends.
Okay,
from Little League.
Okay, I'm sorry to assume. That
makes sense. We all look alike.
You never know. Okay, I see you ain't got no elders with you. Okay, so that might make me go a different way. Okay, I was gonna say like Nebraska, but that's very traditional values in Nebraska. But you don't have no elderly people with you. You probably got them in a home somewhere. So okay. You probably Arizona.
Yes. Wow, you're good.
Watch out for Spidey.
Yeah.
Look at them rings.
Look, I'll take it. I'll take it to Bubba Gump.
Spidey speaks. Oh.
Yeah, but
shoot.
If you were gonna go there, I'm gonna leash you guys up like huskies, and you guys are gonna pull my car through Broadway.
Come on.
All right. I mean, my wife.
You see my car is like the shape
sickly.
of a sled.
I see it. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Now, if I may,
your children and your T-ball friend look like thick stock. I bet they can pull this thing.
They from Arizona.
We got Arizona kind of, muscles and sensibilities. They've pulled machinery before. I would have thought Spider-Man drove. I don't know.
This is Spidey. This ain't Spidey.
Different than Spidey.
Yeah, I'm not Spider-Man. I'm Spidey. I'm famous for approximating Spider-Man.
And in which way would the sled approximate Spider-Man?
Oh, just like the like how he shoots webbing.
The strings.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I get it.
You know how he'll shoot a web.
These kids are hungry. They want a breakfast biscuit. I carry breakfast biscuits.
We'll have one. How much?
It's free, man.
Yeah, it's
you're
free.
You're gonna pull a cart like a sled. So
yeah.
Oh, okay. This is sort of our payment. Well, let me tip you.
One of those Belvitas.
Look, I
love a Belvita.
I put a sidecar on my vehicle for Left Shoe over here.
I'm Left Shoe,
and we put a little griddle in the front.
All right.
He's got a little breakfast making station.
All right. Well, let's go, kids. Pull this gentleman's sled.
All right, y'all back up. Back up. All the civilians back up. Spidey is coming through. We're not really gonna strap the children in. They're just gonna walk around because we're not.
All right. Listen, hold on. Let me call.
Look, it's really gonna be
mom just to check
if we
could strap. I think they could do it. We came to Times Square. What do you think, kids? Do you want to pull it?
Hey,
they want to pull it.
This is about pageantry, all right? You know New York? This is about pageantry.
I'm sorry.
It's the image. We're not some sort of slave drivers.
I thought it was more of a hustling town than a pageantry town.
No, this is a pageantry town. Why do you think I'm in this vehicle? Why do you think I have Left Shoe?
There's a lot I've seen so far that I don't understand. I'm a foreigner to your ways in New York. I'm from Arizona, land of the sun.
We own a tenement building. See?
Left Shoe. Now, is Left Shoe a character that has come back that came out so easily?
No, I don't know.
Wow.
I'm just like, what's the name for a sidekick? Left Shoe.
That's great. Okay, I didn't explain the format of the show, but I felt like you would be fine.
Jake mentioned.
Oh, you mentioned. Okay, yeah. We'll jump in and out of scenes and it'll happen. Darn it. I thought you were coming in cold, which was very exciting to me. Darn it.
I would have.
You would have done the same. Yeah. So that's basically we'll do sometimes some improv, and we'll talk about whatever life is happening. Your oldest is Hawk,
right?
Is that okay to say? It's already happened.
She's not listening. She's just
okay.
Yeah, we just doxed your child, and I hope you're okay with that. I hope your child is okay with that.
Maybe 5 or
she'll be 6 in October.
I'm only thinking about that because did you feel it instantly? And maybe it was while your wife, who's
Rebecca.
Yes, lovely lady. Did you feel instantly like, oh, my title, I am dad first now? Did that happen instantly, or is it something that happened gradually?
Maybe instantly. I remember, like, while my wife was in labor, it was she had to be induced because she was like late. Mm-hmm. Whatever the doctors want to like get it done. But that caused her to kind of have like kind of painful contractions for a long time. And I was like, at a certain point, I realized, and like they would just leave us in the room. It would just be like me and her for a long time. And I was like, oh, I'm the guy that has to whatever, like hold her or help her. And I thought that was a moment of like, no one is going to come and tell me you can do this now or you should do this now. It was a voice inside myself like, you're the person who has to do it now. So I think that sort of was my own kind of rebirth.
Wow. That's huge.
That is cool.
Yeah. I was, I had a lot of anxiety before Hawk was born. And as soon as she was born, all of that anxiety turned into love, which was a profound moment, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that was like a lot of times when people would tell me, oh, like you'll know life changes or you'll know something, it hasn't happened. But that was one time that it really did for me. Wow. And I think, it's different for everyone, but that was just a kind of a.
Yeah, no, it sounds like a truly, just the way that you described it, like anxiety just turned to love.
Yeah.
That seems so, I don't know, like saying that like white turns to black or something like that.
Yeah, it was pretty magical.
Yeah.
It's unreal. I cannot relate because I haven't had that experience, but it does. I have heard people give their accounts that feel similar.
Yeah.
And oh goodness. Yeah, that makes so much sense to me, at least. Did that experience also give you a different relationship to your own anxiety?
I don't know. I would say no, because it's not as clear as your other question. So, probably not. Of course, like a lot about for me being a parent is just being absolutely, destroyed psychologically and, ego wise. So that's probably good. That's good for some people some of the time. But yeah, I don't know. I can't tell about my anxiety.
Yeah.
I can't feel it right now, which is good, but
that's beautiful.
It sounds like it's there because the way that you describe parenthood is it being psychologically destroyed.
Yeah. But it is like once everything has just been like burned. One of the ways, in Terminator 2, Judgment Day, where Linda Hamilton has her dream and she's holding on to the chain link fence, and the bomb goes off and her flesh is all like blown off of her body and she's just a skeleton. That's kind of like parenthood, I think, for me.
You're just only left to your bones?
Yeah, you're kind of really just denuded to,
Is it because of the challenges of parenthood, or is it just like, oh, you never expected to have these experiences?
It's just exhausting. I mean, it really is in a way that, do you have children?
No.
In a way that I can't.
We are children.
I'm speaking a different language,
yeah,
which is fine. I mean, it's in no way is it better or worse. It's just a constant need of you.
Yeah, no, I
of your time,
understand.
of your attention, of your space. It's just all taken away, and I don't begrudge that. I love getting to be a dad for these two people, but it's absolutely
No, I can totally understand what you're saying now. Like, it sounds like the way that you describe it is like, oh, I had my time, my energy, my space all cleaved away from me, and now I just have. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, that's so interesting because I'm fascinated by parenthood. I really have always wanted to be a parent.
Yeah.
It's quite painful to think about, actually. But
if it happens, you will be a great parent.
I hope so.
Jake, I don't know you as well, but you seem okay.
I don't want children.
All right.
And that's best for the children. Yeah.
Oh, fuck. What was the thought I just had? It left. It was that.
You said you don't have children.
I don't have them.
But you always wanted them.
Oh, because we have such propriety around our space, our time, but I've always had a suspicion that it's like those aren't the important things.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Yeah.
So once you have to divest yourselves of those, does it change your relationship to those? Like, because those are big things. A lot of people would say that's me. That's what I have. That's what I own.
Yeah. I mean, I think again, I can't even conceive of it now. And it's just like there's like the dad joke, whatever trope. And the reason that dad jokes are bad is because your audience is stupid. And so you're trying to make them laugh in a way. And so you degrade yourself. And then at a certain point, they're like, oh, that's not funny anymore. It's like, I used to be really clever and funny. I used to be able to like talk to people. And now I've dumped all of that information so I could make you happy.
George, this is embarrassing.
Stop
shaking your keys, please.
Hold on. I've just got a new one. I got a new mailbox key. And
I just came over to ask you if you'd like some caviar. And
I've got some caviar right behind your ear.
George.
Jacques, is this who you wanted to introduce me to?
Yes.
Hello.
George, this is my lover, Pierre.
Pull my finger.
Don't
do it.
Don't pull it.
Here.
I mean, if he asks so politely.
He's from Belgium. He doesn't understand.
Actually, I thought this man's flatulence was a little entertaining.
Pierre, you don't have to do that. We've invited you to our chateau for dinner.
It is beautiful.
You are wearing overalls.
I almost chateaued myself on the way here.
This man is a riot. Oh.
The Belgians love me.
Yeah.
George, we studied in the Riviera together. You used to be a man of such culture, and now
Those
I don't understand
days
you.
Are behind me. The only culture I am is a go-gurt. Would you like a go-gurt?
That was clever. That is clever. Oh my god.
I've got my cleverness. I've lost a lot of my.
We have rosé, Pierre. Don't drink a go-gurt.
Oh, you don't need rosé.
It tastes like yogurt and blue raspberry flavoring.
Here.
Ooh.
Oh, where'd they go?
This man is a magician. I love him.
You're just debasing my fiance. Let him. He's a man of letters.
Well, listen, I'm grateful to be here. I haven't had a lot of time away from my kids, and I just did want to get a little vacation in.
Oh well, our chateau is welcome to you. Today's a black tie event, but we'll make an exception. You can come in your overalls.
Oh, I've got black tie. I've tied my shoes black tied.
Oh yeah.
My laces are black. Oh,
that is true. That is true. You know what? Let's just invite him inside. I think he'll entertain, the Duke of Monaco. And
this man wrote a 1,000-page thesis on Chaucer.
Yeah, I had my priorities all screwed up then. Reading books, trying to engage with the arts, the
culture,
arts, the eternal conversation of literature.
Yes. This is what we used to do.
Spending time with the muses, drinking a bottle of wine, writing a poem, group masturbation. That all had its place in my past.
These were all.
So he's the one from the Riviera trip that you were talking about. Okay, I see. Yeah.
I had some
grew
kids.
And blossomed.
We did, there was a lot of blossoming. Sometimes 2 or 3 times a day.
Wow.
Now,
the good old days, like the ones you talk about.
We get our refractory period gets longer and longer.
Yeah, of course.
But what I'm saying is I had kids, and that turned my world upside down. Instead of the Tales of Chaucer.
Don't pick up Pierre by his ankles. Please put him down.
How do you like that?
Oh, I love it.
Please.
You're my broom. You're my broom.
Beautiful. Yeah. That's super fun. Well, I don't know anything about. It's so funny because we were trying to recount earlier how long we've known each other.
I know, yeah.
I want to say I've been in New York, I think from 2007, that's been about 16 years. I'm from here, but moving back after college is about 16 years. At the latest, I met you in 2009. So that's like 14 years.
That's incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. That is so wild. But I think, I'm not sure, but I kind of feel like I think I know you went to college for writing or for English.
Yeah, for undergrad.
But I don't know your trajectory. How'd you even get to acting and improv and doing some clown and then filmmaking? You've done a ton of stuff, which you haven't touched on yet. But how does that happen?
I had a very bad experience with acting in 8th grade. I was in not AP, honors. It was honors English or something.
Mm-hmm.
And my teacher had us all like do Shakespeare, right? And she was
where is this and what's the teacher's name?
Miss Chin.
Okay.
And she was like a young, she was like, oh, this is how you'll have to do in high school. And we would be like, well, we're not in high school. Let us just be in 8th grade. It was kind of like that.
What state is this?
New Jersey.
New Jersey. Oh, you're from New Jersey?
Yeah, man.
I never knew this.
Whereabouts in Jersey?
Central Jersey, near Great Adventure.
Okay, cool.
Millstone.
Yeah.
Millstone, New Jersey.
Okay.
So I was like Brutus, I think, in one scene, and I was Shylock in another scene.
Wow.
And so we got the scenes, and she would just be like, all right, study. And like, I wasn't a good homework doer. There was no education on like how to learn lines.
Yeah.
And so the show came and I didn't know anything. It was a nightmare. And I had like written them down. So when I was Shylock, I was like, oh, I have this piece of paper it was mortifying. I felt so bad and it just totally put me off acting. And even, I don't know if that was it, but for the arts for a while, I was more like a sports boy.
Yeah.
And then in college, I liked writing. And so I was like, oh, at first I wanted to be like a social sciences guy, like a sociology guy,
Mm-hmm.
because I think I had a sense of justice and self-righteousness. And then I took a year off and I went back. I was helping teach like a 5th grade and a 2nd grade. And it made me love math and it made me love the arts. So when I came back, I declared English as a major and I started getting involved I was an RA,
Mm-hmm.
which is sort of a shame to me, personal shame. And I got fired from being an RA. And I was exiled to the top of the oldest dorm I went to Muhlenberg College. And I started like doing like dance. I started doing like black box stuff. But in my head, I was like too late for the actor. I'd arrived too late.
Mm-hmm.
This is a theme in my life, I'm realizing. But I was like, I wish I would have started, the theater stuff earlier. So then I don't know what I did next. I moved to Boston and I was having a miserable time teaching. And so it's like the way that I could have a better time is like create, kind of like an Onion for middle school. So I made like a satirical newspaper that basically like made fun of me and teachers for like these middle school kids. And that kind of in a lot of ways saved my sanity. And that was like, oh, I like comedy. And then I moved to New York City and my friend had just started taking classes at the Pit. And I went there and I was like, oh, I wish I could do this. And then I started doing it. That kind of sent me on that.
I got a ton of questions. One is, what was it about being exiled to this tower at the top of this old dorm that led you into the arts? Was it
the isolation?
You weren't allowed to do the other majors?
Well, I thought it was like, well, I'm free in a way, right?
Okay,
it was
gotcha.
like, for whatever, it was me as the rule enforcer getting to be free. And like, that's something I wish that I could go back to college and just like make out with more people and do more drugs and just be free. And I was still dismantling, and I still am, whatever, the cop in my head or the parent in my head or you should do this, or this is how you're supposed to be. And so for that, it was like, oh, I can, I want to play. And so that kind of was an avenue, I think, for that. And I really admired the people who were doing that, and I was drawn to that.
I mean, there's so much there. I definitely, it's come up so much lately, for me. I think it's come up a few times on this podcast, which is fine. I think it's nice that when there's themes on a podcast that come up
like
over and over.
Notice your inner workings and you're working through stuff. I like that. It's so that it's like a running,
That's good. That's good. I have I have movies in my life, like we all do, that are central to me. One of the biggest ones is Hook. Hook is probably the reason I'm an actor.
Yeah.
Because I saw it's definitely my connection to improv and clown, because I saw that movie and I'm like 9 years old and I'm watching it, and Robin Williams is like however old he is, probably like 40 something or late 30s, early 40s,
whatever.
He's
probably younger than we think, but yeah.
God, I don't even want to think about it. But so, and I'm watching that movie at like 9 years old. And I remember consciously thinking, oh, he's probably an older man, but I believe that he's a 10-year-old boy.
Whoa.
I believe it. I remember thinking, I believe it, and I know that he's not, but I believe it. And then I realized in that moment, oh, I never have to grow up.
Wow.
That's even funnier that you're watching Peter Pan while that happens.
Yeah. I realized that, and I thought that I go, oh, I never have to grow up. I can play for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And then so like when improv showed up in my life, that was like sort of like a tangible, like, yes,
yeah.
I can just play. Nobody can stop me from playing. So I very much relate to that. Like that, like it is an odd, interesting thing to be like, I want to play forever. I always want to play. I think that's even a line in a Peter Pan movie, or I always want to play. I always want to have fun,
Yeah. Something that I've been talking about, like when I teach, is that play is like serious. Like play is older than humans. Animals play, right? To learn and to like build trust and to repair trust, and to heal, and I think like I was just talking to people today, and they were like, well, how do we manage like making money and doing art? And it's like this thing of like people who are really rich, or the children of rich people, they're artists because like left to our own devices, we are like endlessly creative beings, and that's what we would want to do.
There's like a lot of like anthropological studies of like what did people do in like prehistoric societies or societies before, kind of like we had labor and stuff like that, and a lot of people actually just spent their time making art.
Yeah. I think like in societies that have more free time, it's a lot of storytelling, dance.
Dance.
Art is indistinguishable, or in whatever. There's maybe not like now I am doing art, but it's fused into the the fabric of life. Did you have a movie that
was like a artistic inspiration?
Yeah.
Or just a life inspiration.
Let me think about that.
Or a book, or a poem.
Could have been a book.
I will say, like, I think my all-time favorite piece of media is the TV show Community. And I think so it's about, for people that haven't seen it, please go watch it. It's amazing.
I've never seen, I think, one episode of Community.
If you like improv and like, you'll like Community. And I started watching, so it's about these people that come to a community college, And all of them, kind of the central thesis of this show is that all of them come there as people that like end up in community college. No, like offense to them, but like he was in community college as an adult taking these classes for Dan Harmon, I'm talking about, the writer of the show, and met all these interesting people that came to community college because it's an interesting place. It's like that people end up in. And all of his characters are all people that had their life shatter in some sort of like really profound way. Mm-hmm. And as a response to that, they end up in this community college. And then kind of the central thesis of this show is that, you know, even though you might feel isolated and broken kind of by yourself, if you put in the effort to like build family and community, like everybody's can help heal each other and be okay with each other. And I started watching that as I was going to college. And I think my college years were not happy years for me. So it took me a long time to like watch that show and then realize like, oh, this is actually more to me. It means a lot more to me than like just a stupid show joke. Yeah. Like there's a lot of lessons that I really should be learning from this. And I think I may have, if I had paid attention and learned them, I probably would have had a better time in college and stuff like that. So
I'm really sorry. I don't have $1. And I don't think I have time to listen to a story. I'm so sorry.
Come on, please.
I don't really have the time. I'm sorry. I don't have any change. There's a lot of subway.
What kind of pants? What kind of pants are those? They look like cotton Dockers.
That's a sharp guess. That's what they're. They're cotton Dockers.
All right. There's no easy way to say this. Can I have your pants?
Hey buddy, it's 7:51 in the morning. I got a long commute to get.
Where are you going?
I'm going to my job. I work in an office.
An office?
Yeah.
Whoa. What? Let me guess. Your customer service.
All right, that's a really good.
Am I right?
Yes. I'm sorry, we're blocking the way, sir. Please don't. I'm sorry.
Actually, excuse me. Do you have a $1 and I can tell you a story?
Hold on.
You work in this.
I got here first.
Do you also work in the subway?
Well, I'm doing my work in the subway. Am I paid by the MTA? No.
This gentleman, I'm assuming, is paid by the MTA.
I am paid by the MTA, but I'm also an artist.
He's trying to poach my work. Now, Stephen, I like hanging out with you.
Hey, no, I'm just a free-spirited artist.
I didn't realize
being inspired by another artist.
Am I the artist that inspired you?
Maybe.
Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah.
I had no idea. Well, I was just trying to talk to this guy in Cotton Dockers, and I was close to guessing. You guess. Now, my guess was customer service, and I seem to have touched a nerve. Mm-hmm. If you get it right, you have to take both Stephen and me into the subway, and then we'll continue. If we continue to impress you, eventually we will like become roommates. But that's down the line. That's if we get a lot of questions right.
All right,
hold on. Let me guess.
You work here, so I'm not swiping you in. What are you gonna guess?
Guess his profession.
I think so you work in customer service, and you work on the second floor, but you take the stairs every day because you don't like to.
You could think just as well without pressing.
I was
going to
say, Stephen, you don't have to put the fingers on your temple, but
if it makes you feel better, you could do it.
I kind of like it.
Isn't this art? Isn't this performance?
I
thought it was.
Yeah, but you got to take. This is like our critique. We're colleagues.
Look, I'm not actually thinking when I'm doing that. I just want you guys to believe that I am
that's
thinking.
That's what's happening.
Yeah.
Does it help focus you? Is there some sort of somatic thing that's happening that helps focus
No, I'm
you?
just, I'm channeling my inner storyteller.
I like
and
that.
my inner storyteller knows that you don't take the elevator, you take the stairs.
Is he right?
When we get to my stop, we have to separate, okay?
So, you don't have $1 for us, yet you wear Cotton Dockers and walk up one flight, I guess, from the first floor to the second floor.
I don't want to.
You're in customer service.
Yes, I don't want to move past the fact that you also asked me for my pants, which is very unreasonable.
I asked, I didn't take.
I'm thankful.
Look,
You'd be surprised.
There are no rules on the subway that stop anybody for asking for somebody's pants.
And Steven works for this. He knows.
Yeah, I know these rules. Yeah.
First rule of the subway is.
Don't look.
Excuse me. Second rule of the subway?
Don't fall.
Don't look, don't fall. You could fall, right? As long as you were looking. But if you don't look, that's the first. That's number one. Don't look, don't fall. And number 3,
These are all common knowledge rules of the subway. But what's the third rule? I don't know.
Common knowledge is not as common as we would like to think.
Yes, that's true.
Just
Third rule
because
is-
you're underground doesn't mean gravity doesn't work here.
A lot of people come here thinking they're just going to float around.
I didn't know that one.
There you go.
Everybody thinks that the subway is kind of pulled by some anti-gravity thing, some magnets. Nah.
Good old American
I'm sure
muscle
that when I
steel.
jump down here, I'm in the air a little bit longer than normal because I think it's because there's a manipulation of gravity that's happening.
No, that's
Looks like
common
somebody's
misconception.
becoming a storyteller.
Wow.
You guys, I have to get to my customer service job, okay? And I got a lot of stairs to walk. I just
Well, we'll walk with you. This is a nice
Yeah.
building.
You know, most of the subway stuff
I'm
is.
on the 17th floor.
Wait, what was you were raw? You were off by 15.
I was off by 15 floors.
Let's walk.
Wow.
Mm.
Okay. I'm gonna. You know what?
Mm.
I'm gonna just take off my MTA hoodie, and they don't need me for today. They don't need me.
Tie it around your waist.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to lose that. That's a high quality hoodie.
You get a bumblebee striped shirt.
It is. Yeah.
It's very nice.
I like to wear a lot of fashion underneath my MTA uniform. Just
I really admire the way you guys express yourself and seek to express yourself. I'm just gonna stop right here in the middle of the stairwell. I don't like my job.
All right, there it is.
there we go.
I don't know why I was in such a rush to get here. I guess there's consequences to being late, but you both feel so alive to me, and I don't.
I'd say there's consequences to being on time.
You're giving
too.
me $1?
Here, you're the storyteller now.
Do I give this dollar to you now?
I mean, if you want to.
Only if he
I'll take
earns
it.
it.
This feels.
It's $1 of your pants.
This feels like what this
Give
is
us your
all-
pants,
I
man.
wanna see now. Oh, that was so fun! What a great surprise!
Do a little hustle.
Yeah. Okay, let me read this thing. Hey, you're listening to Radio Free Brooklyn, independent listener supported radio. Thanks for listening. We love you. Radio Free Brooklyn's mission is to provide free and open platform to our community and promote media literacy, education, free expression, and public art.
Can I read some?
Oh yeah, I'm on the
Public art,
the
please.
third line of the second part
Okay. Public art. I don't see that anywhere.
in the second paragraph.
All right. Radio free public art. We rely primarily on donations from listeners like altogether you. Every dollar. Now this is timely. Every dollar helps us stay on the air and allows us to continue our work in the community. We are a 501c3 star. Someone has drawn a star in there. I don't know if that's nonprofit organization. So all contributions are tax deductible.
Radio Free Brooklyn also accepts pants in lieu of dollars.
Yep.
So yeah.
You have a pants bin.
If you'd like to listen to Radio Free Brooklyn when you're not in front of your computer, please download our free mobile app for iPhone, Android, available at the App Store, iPhone, or Google Play Store for Android.
That's about it. I don't do the whole thing. I only do little parts of it. That's good.
That's nice.
So you're so the other thing, a thing we have in common. Did you ever study UCB?
I studied, yes.
Okay.
Level, I did 101 there.
Okay.
And I did a sketch writing class there.
Okay. It's not completely true because I was on an indie team for a long time that was coached by Sean Taylor of the Magnet and Sean Wickens. We're both Magnet guys, but also Sean was a Pitt guy, and they both, I think, studied at UCB.
Yeah.
But of my generation, I'm like one of very few people who not only that never studied at UCB, but I'm only besides my indie team, only a Pitt baby. Only Pitt is what I studied. I'm squarely Pitt.
I mean, there's some kind of fine print underneath that.
Yeah.
Pitt
That's
baby
all. That's all.
birth
That's all.
certificate.
That's all.
Yeah.
How do you think that shapes you?
I mean,
I would also consider myself. When I took 101, it was, you know, I had been teaching at the Pitt for probably 5 or 6 years, so it wasn't formative. It was fun.
Okay, I agree. I believe you. I don't know. I'm not gonna say I agree, but I believe you. This
Whoa.
is because I
How could you agree? You weren't there.
Exactly.
Okay.
How do I think that is for me? Well, one. So this show, you mentioned Kevin Scott earlier.
Yeah.
You probably heard me say this. I think Centralia is the greatest improv team on the planet. I think they're the best. I love them. This show, No Suggestion, is named for them because they don't take a suggestion. I don't think a group, at least in New York, like Centralia, could exist in any of the other theaters.
Yeah.
It can only really exist at the Pit.
Yeah.
I think the Pit, I think that, I'm talking about the old world.
Yeah.
This new world that we're in. But in the old world, the UCB is like the Apple Store.
Yeah.
The Magnet is like the Ellen Show, I think. Given all we know about that world now. I think the Pit was really like it was like the show Community, just like a community college.
Yeah.
Just like where but it was like a good one, but still a community college, meaning you're only going to get out of it what you put into it.
Yeah.
If you put a lot into it, I feel you'll get a lot out of it. And if you don't put a lot into it, it's very easy to do because nobody's paying attention.
Yeah.
It's kind of a free for all.
Yeah.
I remember, I tell the story a lot. One time I went to the Magnet to see a friend's class show. This is when they just opened their rehearsal center.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody will report this story to them, but I want them to hear it. At that rehearsal center that they didn't have anymore.
Like in Koreatown?
Exactly.
Yeah. And
I went to the actual Magnet by accident, so I showed up late and I'm sweaty and I carried my bike up the stairs because it's very busy on that street. I couldn't find a place to lock my bike. And I walk in. The training center is brand new. There's nothing in there.
Uh-huh.
And I go, hey, is there a room I could just tuck my bike in real fast? Got to run in my friend's show. Of course, class shows, they split the class in half. So I don't know which half my friend is in. I could miss her half.
Yeah.
And I'm like, could I please just tuck my bike somewhere? I'll put it anywhere you want me to put it. Sorry, could you lock it outside? We just don't allow. Like, there's nothing here.
Yeah.
No one's in here. There's only people in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you could just lock it outside. That to me is the Magnet. That is the full.
That's interesting. I really don't have a sense of the Magnet. They build terrific improvisers. I know they're known for musical improv, but I think in general they build terrific improvisers all together. But I do get that sense whenever I'm there. It's a little bit of that culture. This is the old world. Yeah.
Maybe it's different now.
Yeah.
But this is the pre-pandemic world. Now, UCB, they didn't even want you to have a bike. They want you to have a Ferrari. But the Pit, I feel like I could have walked into the Love Bar and just placed my bike on the floor and they'd be like,
yeah,
all right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I love that. I think, and to finally answer your question, what I think is true about the Pit is that compared to the UCB or the Magnet, the lows are lower. When something is bad at the Pit, it's really bad.
Yeah.
But the highs are also much higher.
Yeah.
I think you can hit the sublime at the Pit in the old world. I think you could hit the sublime there in terms of skill and quality of work and kind of shows you can make more readily there than you could at the other places.
I did like that. It did feel like if you had the hour or whatever, you could go anywhere.
Yeah.
And I if I had a theater, which I don't want, but it would be like, that would be my training, that anything could happen. Like that would be the log line that the audience would know when you're going into a show, and we would train performers to be able to follow any instinct or impulse. But I did like that. I like that feeling of play.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like all of them are valuable because I think when I first started learning improv, it was kind of like, oh, anything's okay, just go and follow your whatever. But I was not a person that could do that.
Yeah.
Like I was like a very reserved person, very shy, didn't have much like emotional intelligence or social skills. So like, I threw myself at that type of improv for like 3 years, and it was just like utterly awful, terrible, like a confidence destroying experience. And then like I did UCB, and like just how they had it very structured and like broken down. And then the idea that like they had this clear artistic vision and everything that you would see was curated to that vision. Kind of like in my brain helped me be like, oh, like I can understand this now because it's much more formulaic. It's much more like kind of broken down. And more mechanical and like technical. And then because you could see that stuff on stage, it was like learning that became a lot easier. And I think then I like took leaps and bounds in my ability to improvise, and and then I could have come back to the other stuff and figure that out later.
I think that's really right on too.
So I think like all of these spaces, everybody's gonna bloom in one of these gardens.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that idea. I think everyone, it's about what kind of garden and gardener
Mhm.
you most gravitate toward. And I thought when I first came to New York, probably like everyone, that I was like, oh, the UCB is improv.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go there. And I just happened to walk into the pit, but once I got there, I just never really made it out anywhere else. And it wasn't because I was in a lot of demand at the pit or like, embraced. It was just that like my sensibility, this sort of like love of, I don't know, messy. I don't know. I don't even know how to put it, but there's something about it that just felt like, it really felt like I could walk in and lay my bike on the ground and they'd be like, I guess there's a bike here now. There's something about that I really respond to that feels to me like what art. Well, this thought is coming to mind. It's like if you're in the movie Hook and you go into the Lost Boys kind of layer or whatever, it kind of feels like chaos and anarchy. But that isn't truly what's going on. They do have an order and but it's sort of like grown more organically.
Yeah.
It's not someone setting down rules. It's like they've kind of chaos themselves into these systems that work this like tributaries that work for them.
I like that.
Yeah. I don't have much else to say about that, I guess.
It's kind of like, it's very Lord of the Flies at the pit.
Yeah, I think it really is, but I do love that.
I don't know. I mean, I wasn't around the pit for the pre-pandemic era, but I think post-pandemic, I think the people there are trying to do a lot more to, give it productive structure, but also not lose the spirit of this is a space for anyone to try anything. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, and that's a tough balance to do, but I'm sure the pit can handle it. It still feels pretty similar to that now. What are for you, like as a teacher now, Chris? I feel like we haven't really gotten into like all the stuff that you make, all the stuff.
Well,
you
we've got about 12 minutes left, so
and all the all those wonderful shows you made, and the play you just did with Rich Holloman.
Yeah, you'll have to have me back.
I will absolutely have you back, but I am interested for you.
Yeah,
if you have like a 1 hour session with people who are like, what is improv? What are we supposed to know about it?
This is a great question because I don't even know that. Like now, having not taught it for a while, now coming back to teach it, and often.
Where are you teaching now?
At the Barrow Group.
Woo.
I think I talk about play. I talk about, in general, the big, epiphanies that I had as a teacher were that in improv we should try to aim to be kinder, more curious, and more generous in the scenes than in our real life. That those lead to connection, and comedy is about connection. And that's an Aliism. Comedy is about connection. We think it's often about conflict. Comedy is about connection. And I think those are things that are like actionable and doable and easy to aim for, right? It's not about being funny or clever or fast. Oh, I'll be kind. I'll be more curious than I might normally be. I'll be more generous. If someone needs something, I can do it. And the byproduct is when you stop doing that on stage, you have built those muscles, right? It's the same way with yes and, or like trying to avoid questions or looking out for questions. They begin to like glow in real life. Like, oh, I said yes and here, or I didn't say yes and, or I said but. The same thing. It's like my default slowly becomes being someone who is more connective to or aware or present.
If you have a question in your eyes, I will notice it, children. If there's something you do not understand, I will see it, and I will punish you because that means you have not studied. If you have a question, my eyes are like a hawk watching each of you children in this classroom.
Mr. Devlin?
Have you a question?
It's like, I guess more of like a comment.
All right, Denzel.
Do you want me to just look at you, or should I say it with my mouth?
Say what you want. Add something to the conversation.
Well, you said
but if it's a question,
no questions.
Only a pupil that is bad would ask a question.
Okay. No comment.
Look at me.
Good.
Look at me.
Basil? You?
I have a question. Why are you like this? Who made you like this?
These are not points that are in the notes for today's
It's because
study.
we are curious. Not for the lesson, but for you.
Adhere to the syllabi. Adhere to the syllabi. Don't. We have no time. Denzel?
I have a question for Basil.
Yes.
This is cross
It's-
questioning across a
Okay.
lateral questioning.
I have a comment to you, Mr. Devlin. I'd like to make a question to Basil.
Let him do it. Let him speak his mind.
Basil, your eyes somehow spin. There's a fiery spinning in your eyes.
I want to know.
You are a child.
I want to know.
I am an adult.
I want to know.
Yes, Denzel.
Mr. Devlin, my comment still stands. I would like to make a question towards.
Just say it. Just say it.
You prefer Basil?
Allow me to take a
Yeah,
posture
Basil,
of power and
Basil,
authority.
Basil.
Yes, you may ask. Just know that I am in a wide stance of power and authority.
It's it's
say
very
what you
impressive
need to
and
say.
wide. Wow, it's so wide I can see your socks. Your pants are riding up because your stance is so wide.
My pants are appropriately hemmed.
Basil.
Yes.
I was wondering if maybe you want to come to my house for a play date.
Yeah, I'd like to do that. It's fine. Do you like to play Warcraft?
Yeah, play
Okay.
Warcraft.
All right.
I'm a war. I'm a guy with have a helmet.
Yeah, nice. I got a staff.
Oh,
Okay, yeah, we'll play. We'll play. I'll talk.
thank you.
But I wanna
Hopefully,
come
in
back
all
to.
your hours of play, you'll find a moment to get in a mere moment of study.
Well, we
Wow,
can.
your legs are wide, Mister.
Yeah, we can see you sweating. Do you think that this is real power? Do you feel potent and capable?
I am the adult. I am the authority. I've been granted the authority by the commissioner and the superintendent of children. Yes,
Mr. Devlin.
Denzel.
You're splitting so much that your testicles are touching the floor.
We are actually taller than you now.
I don't understand. You were both in the back row earlier, and now you're in the front row.
Yeah, we're slowly getting closer. Kind of probably as our awareness is growing, and we're building a friendship.
Yeah.
Metaphorically, we're growing in power, and also physically, we're moving closer to you.
I'm going
And
to
I'm
sit
just
on you.
Curious about how deep your splits.
Don't
can get.
use my head as a seat. Go to the board and do the arithmetic problem of 3 plus 7.
10. I'm gonna touch your
What?
tongue. I'm gonna touch your tongue with my thumbs. Ooh.
Do you
Mr.
see?
Devlin.
Do you see?
Mr. Devlin.
Children, I'm evaporating.
Oh no. Oh, he melted.
The fragility of ego.
Scene. Beautiful. Wow. What poetry. All right. I love I want to say I do love that idea of I tell you this is a moment in I don't remember when this happened, but it blew my mind. I was thinking about the idea that people do improv as like a way to as a way to build themselves and grow as just as a person. Like I feel like there's a lot of people who do improv just for personal development.
Yeah.
And I think it's often kind of like parlays or deviates or grows or evolves into spiritual development.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about that and I didn't know how to look anything up about that. So I just Googled it and I went to the Wikipedia for improv. That's in the Wikipedia entry for improv.
That
People use it for personal and spiritual development.
Yeah, I can.
That's
My
like
own personal experience of
an article.
improv, I think, has been largely that. Is yeah.
That's That's fascinating.
One of my other, I think of Yes and as the creative spark, right? That is in any art or in any discipline.
The mind blown sign here.
Galaxy brain, bitches.
Yeah.
I did mushrooms, and I was walking through the woods, and I came across like a graveyard, and there was, well, first I saw like moss on
I just want to say
rocks.
this is a very Roberti story.
And then I came across a graveyard, and there were like a lot of graves for like little young babies, an old graveyard. And then I laid down on a trampoline, and I looked like there were tendrils of grass, and I was like, nature just makes offers.
There's a trampoline in a graveyard?
It was next. It was
Oh,
near the
okay.
graveyard.
Okay.
They would bounce the corpses
into the grave.
Into the grave, yeah.
One last playtime.
Yeah. And so I was thinking, oh, nature just makes offers. That's all it does. And some of it, this is the biblical, like, the fertile soil, the seeds that land on sand or stone or fertile soil. Yeah. And it's just making offers. And if something gets yes-anded, it will grow. And
yeah, there was an NPR article written a couple months ago about a study that was published, I think 2020 or 2021, where a bunch of psychologists did improv with, their group therapy people and found that it like significantly increased their ability to like communicate, their confidence, their desire to interact with other people and all these things. And it's like largely what you're saying. And I think it's like the culture of yes and like it's like the ultimate validation. Like a lot of people that they might be have like struggled because like they weren't validated in the way that they needed to, but like improv built into it has validation, which is
really,
yes and.
It is, and I tell students like the biggest job is just to take care of the animal that's on stage with you, is to soothe them, kind, curious, generous, does all of that because I feel like we all operate much better when we're comfortable as actors, as artists. And if I can't comfort myself necessarily, certainly as a beginning improviser, I couldn't, but I can comfort. That's like, I have your back. I think what it means is I can comfort you. I can let you know I like your ideas, even if I don't, right? It's to make you feel like I like you and I like what's happening. I think that allows.
I work at the mental health space, and my boss is a psychiatrist / former Buddhist monk. And he one thing that he said about like one of the few things that we don't really understand about confidence is that you don't really ever build confidence. It's kind of more like you rediscover it. But like one of the ways that you rediscover it is people that you are confident in have confidence in you. And like the idea of like, I got your back and we're yes-anding each other, and you're like, you treat your partner like a genius. Like if you truly have the confidence that they're going to take care of you, and then realize that, oh, they feel the same way about me. Yeah. You will feel confident in yourself.
Yeah. Unreal. Okay. We're down to the last minute. How can people find you, and what is the thing of yours you want them to see? You have a lot of cool material online.
The thing that I think I'm most proudest of is called the Humane Society. And you'll see Ralph on the Humane Society.
Yeah.
I think you have to find it by like Libby Brothers / web series.
Libby Brothers right around the corner.
Yeah. But yeah, Chris Roberti.
Yes. The Humane Society. A wonderful web series, like a video poems that are funny, and
there's a poem in every episode, so I guess I am a poet. Goddamn.
Yeah. Yes. Nice. All right, this has been No Suggestion. I'm Ralph Jean Pierre. Jake Joseph, who hosts a jam weekly at the Pit. Check him out. I think it's going to be on Wednesdays now instead of Thursdays.
It's going to be Thursdays until for a little while, but Thursdays at 5 p.m. at the Pit.
Yeah. And that's it. This has been No Suggestion. We love you guys. Good night.
Bye.
Bye.